In the quiet neighborhood of Maplewood, a bright idea bubbled up among the residents, to create a community garden on a patch of unused land owned by the Homeowners Association, HOA. This piece of land, once neglected and overgrown, held great potential. The neighbors envisioned a vibrant space filled with colorful flowers, fresh vegetables, and delicious fruits. It would not only beautify their surroundings but also provide a place for families to gather, learn about gardening, and share their harvests. Families began to dream of tomatoes ripening in the sun, cucumbers climbing trellises, and children laughing as they picked strawberries. They imagined weekend gatherings where neighbors could swap recipes and share gardening tips. Enthusiasm spread like wildfire as more residents joined in, each eager to contribute their ideas and skills. Excitement filled the air during planning meetings. Children sketched bright designs while adults discussed soil types and planting schedules. They even planned events where local chefs could teach cooking with fresh produce, turning the garden into a hub of community activity. But just as plans started to take shape, the optimism was met with an unexpected roadblock. Karen, the outspoken HOA president, raised her concerns about the project. She believed that a garden would attract bugs and hippies, casting doubt on the wonderful dreams the neighbors had built together. Little did she know, her opposition would ignite a spark of rebellion among those who cherished the idea of nurturing their community through gardening. Karen had always been a strong presence in the Maplewood community. As the HOA president, she took her role seriously, believing she was protecting the neighborhood's image. With her neatly combed hair, tailored clothes, and sharp opinions, she had garnered both respect and a bit of fear among residents. When she heard about the plans for the community garden, her reaction was immediate and vocal. During the HOA meeting where the garden was first proposed, Karen stood up and cleared her throat, ready to voice her concerns. "This garden idea may sound nice," she began sharply, "but think about what it could bring to our lovely neighborhood, bugs and hippies." Her words hung in the air, and a few neighbors shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Karen continued, listing her worries about potential pests and outsiders flocking to their peaceful streets. She painted a picture of chaos where children were overrun by insects and strange-looking visitors loitered around their homes. While some residents nodded in agreement out of respect for her authority, others exchanged glances filled with disbelief. Unbeknownst to Karen, her strong opposition only fueled the residents' determination to see the garden come to life. Instead of retreating, they began brainstorming new ways to bring fresh produce into their community, igniting a spirit of rebellion that would soon unfold in unexpected ways. As news of Karen's opposition spread through Maplewood, disappointment washed over the residents like a sudden rainstorm. Many had been so excited about the community garden, viewing it as a chance to connect with their neighbors and enjoy the simple pleasure of gardening. Now, they felt deflated and frustrated. In small groups, neighbors gathered to share their feelings. "How can she deny us this opportunity?" asked Linda, a passionate gardener who had envisioned rows of bright sunflowers and juicy tomatoes. Others nodded in agreement, lamenting how they had poured their hearts into planning something beautiful for everyone. The once enthusiastic conversations turned into debates about community involvement and the importance of coming together. Some felt that Karen's worries were unfounded, while others wondered how one person could hold so much power over a collective dream. They began to realize that this was more than just a garden, it represented their desire for unity and a shared purpose. Determined not to let Karen's decision extinguish their passion for gardening, the neighbors brainstormed creative ways to make fresh produce accessible. They planned pop-up stands in their driveways, collaborating with local farmers to provide fresh fruits and vegetables. It was a way to not only protest against Karen's decision but also to showcase their commitment to building community ties, proving that together they could cultivate something meaningful, despite any obstacles in their way. With their spirits ignited by a sense of determination, the neighbors decided to take action. Instead of allowing Karen's opposition to silence their dreams, they reached out to the local farmers market, eager to form a partnership that would not only boost their cause but also bring fresh, local produce to their community. The idea was to create a vibrant atmosphere in their driveways, turning them into mini farmers markets where residents could shop for fruits and vegetables while supporting local farmers. Organizing the first pop-up stand was a flurry of activity. Neighbors volunteered to spread the word, printing colorful flyers and sharing details through social media. Children helped decorate stands with bright paintings and signs that read, "Fresh local produce." The excitement was contagious as everyone prepared to showcase their commitment to supporting local agriculture and standing united against Karen's concerns. On the day of their launch, residents filled their driveways with vibrant displays of fruits and vegetables. The air was filled with laughter and chatter as families came together, some cooking up fresh recipes using the produce they bought. It was a celebration of community pride, proving that they could cultivate connections without needing an official garden space. As neighbors shared stories and tips about gardening while shopping, it became clear that this wasn't just about food, it was about building a stronger community. The partnership with the farmers market allowed them to flourish despite challenges, knitting their bonds even tighter as they fought for what mattered most to them. As the day of the first pop-up stands approached, excitement filled the air in Maplewood. Neighbors began transforming their driveways into vibrant marketplaces, each one decorated with colorful banners and fresh produce displays. Tables were set up, covered with checkered tablecloths, and adorned with baskets overflowing with fruits and vegetables. The scent of fresh herbs wafted through the streets, drawing curious passers-by. Families took part in this lively atmosphere, with children helping to arrange items and share cheerful smiles. Caroline, a retired teacher, brought her homemade signs that read, "Fresh from the farm," while others made flyers detailing the types of produce available. The friendly competition among neighbors led to some creative offerings. One family even set up a lemonade stand alongside their vegetable display, adding to the cheerful vibe. On launch day, people wandered from driveway to driveway, enjoying the community spirit as they browsed for tomatoes, cucumbers, and fresh-picked strawberries. Laughter and chatter filled the air as families exchanged gardening tips and shared ideas for cooking with their purchases. Some even set up impromptu cooking demonstrations right there on their lawns, showcasing how to make delicious meals with fresh ingredients. The energy was electric as residents came together, proving that despite Karen's doubts about their gardening ambitions, they could still create a thriving community space. It became evident that these pop-up stands were more than just a way to sell produce. They were a celebration of connection and resilience in Maplewood, fostering friendships and unity among neighbors. As the pop-up stands flourished in Maplewood, the neighbors faced new challenges that tested their resolve and creativity. Although the initial excitement drew in many shoppers, the unpredictability of weather became a hurdle. One particularly sunny day turned into an unexpected afternoon rainstorm, sending families scrambling to protect their produce and props. Undeterred, they quickly banded together, sharing tarps and umbrellas to keep their stands dry while laughing at their muddy shoes. There were also logistical challenges. Some residents struggled with pricing, unsure of how much to charge for their fruits and vegetables. To tackle this, they held quick discussions at the stands, exchanging suggestions and coming up with fair price lists that everyone agreed upon. This collaboration fostered a spirit of camaraderie as they learned from each other's experiences. As they sold their produce, conversations flowed freely between neighbors and customers. They shared stories about the origins of their crops, tips on gardening techniques, and even offered recipes that featured their fresh ingredients. This sense of community was palpable, as laughter echoed through the streets despite the occasional hiccups. One day, when a family ran out of bags for customers to take home their purchases, others readily donated reusable bags from their own homes. Each challenge brought them closer together, reinforcing their commitment not only to selling fresh produce but also to building lasting relationships within their community. Through it all, the neighbors realized that every obstacle was an opportunity to unite and strengthen their bonds while celebrating their shared love for gardening and connection. As the neighborhood buzzed with excitement around the pop-up stands, Karen felt an itch of curiosity that she couldn't ignore. She had heard about the success of these makeshift markets and wanted to see for herself what all the fuss was about. However, stepping into a driveway transformed into a lively marketplace proved to be more challenging than she anticipated. Dressed in her usual polished attire, Karen approached one of the stands confidently, hoping to purchase some fresh tomatoes for dinner. As she reached for a vibrant red tomato, the teenager manning the booth halted abruptly. "Wait a minute," he said, squinting at her. "Aren't you Karen? The HOA president?" His voice was filled with disbelief, and suddenly, all eyes turned toward her. Murmurs spread through the small crowd as other vendors recognized her name too. "We don't serve your kind here," joked one vendor, grinning while trying to contain laughter. The atmosphere shifted, and instead of the warm welcome she expected, she faced playful resistance from the very people she had opposed. Frustration bubbled inside Karen as the comments continued. Shaking her head, she tried to explain that she just wanted to buy some produce, but her attempts fell flat amidst the laughter. The teenager then offered her a single tomato for an outrageous price of $50, showcasing how far the residents had come in turning the tables on her opposition. Feeling defeated and out of place, she realized that perhaps this community was more united against her than she had imagined. As Karen stood by the tomato stand, she couldn't help but feel a mix of embarrassment and irritation. The teenage vendor, who had clearly recognized her, leaned over the table with a mischievous grin. "You want a tomato?" he asked, holding up a particularly ripe one as if it were a treasure. Karen nodded, trying to maintain her composure. "Yes, please." "How much for one?" she asked politely, hoping to ease the tension. With a smirk, the teenager replied, "That'll be $50. He paused for effect, then added theatrically, "But I'll throw in a free side of community spirit." Laughter erupted from nearby shoppers who had gathered to witness this exchange. Karen's face turned slightly red as she realized everyone was enjoying this playful jab at her expense. "Are you serious?" she retorted, half laughing and half exasperated. "Absolutely. This tomato is organic and locally grown," he said, puffing out his chest as if he were selling a luxury item. "And since you're the HOA president, you must appreciate the value of fine produce." The crowd giggled at her discomfort. Karen felt the playful resistance wrapping around her like a warm blanket but couldn't help but feel frustrated at being singled out in front of everyone. She chuckled despite herself, realizing how far the community had come in standing up for their gardening dreams. As she walked away empty-handed but smiling, it became clear that this encounter would be one for the books, a humorous testament to the community's resilience and spirit against her earlier objections. As Karen's humorous encounter unfolded at the tomato stand, a crowd of neighbors gathered, eagerly watching the exchange. Whispers of excitement and laughter rippled through the onlookers, who found joy in witnessing their HOA president squirm under the playful teasing. The tension that had hung over the neighborhood since Karen's objections began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of camaraderie and shared amusement. "Did you see her face?" chuckled Tom, the local handyman, nudging his neighbor while stifling a laugh. "I think she expected a warm welcome." Others nodded in agreement, their spirits lifted as they cheered on the teenager for his cleverness. Meanwhile, several vendors nearby exchanged knowing glances. They had rallied behind their community effort, coming together to support one another against Karen's earlier criticisms. "This is what we wanted all along," said Linda, wiping tears of laughter from her eyes. "A chance to make her feel just a little bit of what we felt." With each chuckle and comment from the crowd, it became clear that this encounter had turned into an unintentional celebration of their resistance and unity. Neighbors cheered as another vendor shouted out offers for Karen's special price on tomatoes and other produce. As Karen walked away with an empty hands but good spirits, she realized that her presence had sparked an unexpected wave of humor and solidarity among her neighbors. The laughter echoed through the streets, showcasing how they had not only come together for fresh produce but also to support one another against her previous opposition, united as a community in every sense. In the end, the story of Maplewood serves as a powerful reminder of the strength found in community activism. When faced with opposition from Karen, the HOA president, the residents did not back down. Instead, they transformed their disappointment into action. Their initial dream of a community garden evolved into a vibrant collaboration that brought neighbors together in unexpected ways. By creating pop-up stands, they not only showcased local produce but also demonstrated the power of unity and resilience. The laughter shared during playful moments at the stands highlighted how their camaraderie had deepened through shared experiences and challenges. They learned that standing up for their vision could forge stronger bonds among them. As the neighborhood came alive with farmers' market energy, it became evident that this was more than just a way to sell fruits and vegetables, it was about reclaiming their space and fostering connections. Karen's initial concerns about attracting bugs and hippies had inadvertently united the community in a common cause, promoting local agriculture and celebrating their love for gardening. Reflecting on their journey, residents realized that their efforts symbolized hope and determination. They proved that even in the face of adversity, a community could rise together to cultivate not just gardens but lasting friendships and shared values. In Maplewood, the seeds of cooperation and spirit had been sown, ensuring a flourishing future for all who called it home.